Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for making the time. I thought before we get into the whole conversation, I would introduce myself a little bit and the organization, just so you have a bit of an overview. So my name is Zsófia. I'm originally from Hungary, but I have been living in the Netherlands for the past 4 years. I am in the last year of my bachelor studies of international European law, and I joined United Rising in September of 2024. As part of my curriculum, I had to do an internship, and after that, I was so moved by the work of the organization that I decided to stay with them longer. So I have been involved in many different projects, and one of them is the intersectionality and storytelling team. And through that project, we have decided to contact you because I feel like storytelling is such a big part of our work and of what you're doing through your movies and your story, that we felt like it would be a really great opportunity to get to know you a little bit more, get to know your community, what you're doing. So that's why we contacted you, and we are really grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you.
So finally, before we get into the interview, if you have any questions at any point, or if you feel like anything I ask you or I bring up is uncomfortable for you, or you don't feel like talking about it, please just let me know, and we can continue the conversation anywhere else. I'm not sure how much time you have, but I was thinking of a conversation for an hour, if that works for you, or an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my first question is quite general, but I just wanted to see how you're doing
Okay,
today.
I'm doing fine. Today is my first novel's releasing day. So I'm releasing my novel today. So it's gonna be a hectic day.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit already with a adrenaline. So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw yesterday that you were releasing a book. Can you tell a bit more about what the book is about and how the whole concept came up?
Yeah, so it's a fictional story,
Mhm.
but it is pretty surrealistic in the sense that it is about person called Suvi West, who is fictional character, but still called Suvi West, and she is a Sami woman filmmaker, and she's trying to write a book, non-fiction, about strong Sami woman, but constantly fails and ends up writing about ex-lovers. So it's a comedy. It deals
Mhm.
questions of representation, stereotypes, expectations, and the woman's role, and also a theme of being an artist. And there's a multiple Suvi Vests who are all fictional characters, and they are like intertwined or communicating with each other, and it's like yeah, but
This sounds
yeah.
it sounds really interesting. And were part of the story like inspired by your own life, or is it wholly fictional? Or
It is inspired by my own life, and
Mhm.
all the I felt that I need to write myself away. I need to get rid of the all the expectations that during the years I've been in publicity in 20 years.
Oh,
So oh, is it that long? I think around, yeah,
mhm.
around 20 years, or maybe even more. Well, I would say 20 years is safe. So there's a lot of expectations that comes from different places, and I kind of felt that I needed to find the core of myself, that
Mhm.
who I am and what I wanted and what I want now, and how it communicates with the expectations when you are a Sami woman, what others expect from you and what you expect from yourself. So I felt that I needed to kind of like make it's some kind of like in my life like this, I don't know what is in English, but the moment that you just have to come together with yourself and see what has happened and where to go.
Yeah.
It was some kind of like a purifying process, and I think, well, it actually started out as a nonfiction about strong Sami women, and then I decided I don't want to do this, and then the fictional story came, and it was such a powerful moment when that fictional story came, and I decided to follow that, and the publishing company was supporting that totally. So I felt that it was extremely purifying experience, and I also felt that I have been writing this story for myself, because that's something that I would have wanted to read, and I still would want to read that kind of thing. So it is mainly dedicated to myself in a way. And it's one of those works that I have been saying that this is not important. I don't want to. I don't want that people. I hope that people don't think about that as important. I want it to be more like something like art can just be, instead of like trying to say that, okay, you have to be important or to do this and that and that. Yeah.
It sounds really interesting. And you mentioned identifying different expectations from your community and for yourself. Can I ask which expectations you identified, or how do you, which expectations, and how did you find them, or how do you tackle them in your everyday life?
Yeah, it's not only expectations from my own community or from myself, it's also like the major society, what gives me expectations to be certain kind of. So I think the biggest expectation is that the major society sees me mainly and solidly as a Sami person who should represent Sami people. So if you are seen only as a Sami person who represents Sami people, there is no room to be artistically free.
Yeah.
So and I am artist and storyteller. That's my being. So I think there's a huge like what, I don't know what is the word. It's huge, like this
correlation, maybe like a
clash.
class.
A clash between these expectations that I should be Sami and talk about Sami people's rights and wherever I go, or educate a major society about Sami culture and represent Sami. And when I just want to be a storyteller and still tell stories, all kind of stories, the stories I feel that I need to tell. So and it is, I don't see myself in the image when media makes stories about me, because, or if people say that now comes Suvi West, who is an activist, I don't see myself an activist, even though I actively take part of the human rights. So it's something that I do because I feel that I have to do, but it's not something that I want to do. And so I think I don't recognize myself in the public image. I'm not that smart. I'm not that good person. So I wanted to write a book where I could show different sides, like like not that beautiful sides or not that smart sides. I wanted to show a woman who always ends up in a situation where she is expected to talk about colonialism and human rights when she only wants to fuck around.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that is the yeah
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
party and fuck around
Yeah. I think it's really important to also, even if there are people who are activists and who are representing something, that they are still people at the end of the day who are living, who are trying to live the same like everyday life in a way without like representing or any responsibility. So I think it's really important. So you mentioned that you're also a storyteller. If I can talk still a bit about it, um, can I ask, like, do you remember the first time you felt like a storyteller, even before you started making your films? Like, what what made you choose this path, or what made you? Yeah.
yeah. So I call myself mainly as a storyteller because
Mm-hmm.
I make films and I write and sometimes I can do the podcast. So I use different tools to tell stories, but the storytelling is something that is always there and has always been. So I remember that when I was a child, I already told stories to my younger siblings. It was clear for me that I want to be some kind of in a creative profession. I didn't know there was not that many examples, but I remember that I wrote my first stories. Well, first published story I wrote at the age of 11, and
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty. I remember when the adult said that it was pretty good story when compared to that age, and it won some prizes also in international. I'm not in international, but some competition. And so I remember that I just been keeping telling stories since my childhood in different formats. I have been making this home films, home camera, home recorder cameras. I've been making some films or TV series
Mm-hmm.
and so on. And so it was clear. It was really, really clear for me and also people around me, my friends and my family members. And also, I think the other people who they already, it was so clear. But obviously, I didn't know what I can do because I come from very remote area. There was only the village of 300 people, and
Mm-hmm.
in our village there was maybe 30 people. So the
Wow.
big city center was this 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
That was a city center for me.
Mm-hmm.
So and the only examples I knew were actors and TV hosts because that's the images I saw. I never understood that I could be a director. Um, there were writers though. My uncle is a writer and
Mm-hmm.
some other relatives are writers. So that example was there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something what was more fun. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of like because also the book world looked like very serious, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel myself as a serious person, and I don't still think that I am a serious person. Um, so I kind of started to dreaming of TV and acting, but mainly TV and journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So so in the age of 16, I moved from my home area to the South Finland to the art high school,
Okay.
where and it was of course a huge thing because it's a huge difference
Yeah.
to live where I come from and where and
Mm-hmm.
the city. And I barely never ever went to cities before, so it was
Mm-hmm.
a huge thing to understand
Yeah.
how city works. Um, but yeah, I started to, and then I went. I did some theater and radio and TV, and I kind of felt that this is. I mean, I never thought that this is my thing because I already knew it was my thing, so it
Uh-huh.
was a natural thing to be. Yeah, and then after that, things went in.
Yeah.
I started to work in radio, and things got. I got to different places. Yeah.
So, and you mentioned that you wrote your first story when you were 11. Was it a fictional story, or were these mostly fictional stories, or were these about your life, or like an experience that you had before?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's so interesting that you ask, because I love autobiographical and auto-fictional approach. That's my favorite genre as a reader or as a film viewer. I love when the storytellers bring their own personality, or the person to the book or the film or TV series or audio. Uh, so yeah, so I think. It was partially autobiographical, and partially I mean auto-fictional and fictional, because there was this spirit world level. I was writing it in the perspective of that I go somewhere, and then I meet the spirits, and then I go to the spirit world with them. So what is fiction and what
Yeah.
is true? So I think it's I would, yeah, maybe it's kind of like auto fictional, but for me the level of I use lately, I have been basically been having this spirit level in my work, and then some people, and in the book too, there is this spirit level, and then one journalist call it yeah, this magical realism level. But then maybe it's not magical realism to me. Maybe for me it's like another realism.
Yeah,
So it's difficult to say what is fiction and what is not.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. And so you were really nice and really kind to send me two of your movies. So I had the opportunity to watch Homecoming last night. And I found it a really interesting movie because well, I did some research, but I didn't know a lot about your community and your heritage. So yeah, it was a very nice movie and I really enjoyed watching it. So thank you for making the opportunity. Um, when you begin a project or when you begin a movie or when you started your book, where does the story or the whole concept or idea come from? Was your last movie connected maybe to the exhibition as well, or how did it formulate?
Yeah, yeah, this it's really difficult to find the place, or explain how the process comes, because I am that kind of storyteller that um, I don't know clearly what I'm going to do. So my prospects, they also develop and they could take the different direction. Um, Sometimes I think about it, and I think I've heard this term in Indigenous film world. So when we say that there's a spirit of the story, so I really feel that there is a spirit of the story, and the spirit of the story is the one that shows the way, leads you, shows the way, and you just need to kind of listen to the spirit of the story and let it lead you. It is not that easy in that sense, or a good way to make films or write books, because it takes a lot of time, and you know, you have to explain what you're going to do beforehand, and then if you don't know what you're going to do, then it's really difficult to explain. And if you explain something and then it ends up being like a totally different project. And it has happened to all of my films and all of my stories. Well, not all. There was one project that was pretty clear, but mainly I'm that kind of filmmaker and storyteller and writer. And it's beautiful at the same time, because it's like you are work. I feel that it's bigger than I am. The
Mm-hmm.
story and the flow is bigger than and smarter than I am. But at the same time, it is exhausting because it takes a lot of time. Instead of like, I know that there's the books that goes to that they're gonna print after third version, or films that's gonna be fiction films that gonna be shooted after third version of script. When
Mm-hmm.
I make 13
Oh
versions,
wow.
so because I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
doing, I'm just like, I'm in the flow, and I just so it's a little bit heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not heavy only for me, but it's heavy for uh, to those who trust
Yeah.
me. It means producers or publicists. I think
Mm-hmm.
that also they have to kind of be very patient. But I have been so lucky that I have found that kind of people who have been supporting that and letting me be me. And unfortunately, I don't think I can be different kind of storyteller. That is my way to tell stories.
Yeah.
I gather material by making material. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so how things started. Yeah, I mean in the documentary, in the film, so I got this. I read somewhere that Finnish National Museum is going to repatriate the collection. So so I decided that, or me and my husband, we decided to start follow that, even
Mm-hmm.
though we didn't know why and what and how, but
Mm-hmm.
we felt that we have to do that. And it was like an irrational feeling. So yeah, but for the first 2 years, it was really heavy because we didn't know what the story was, and we were making a kind of different film.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost giving up that I don't want to do this because I don't feel the story. But then things changed when I was in the rock bottom, and then the story came, and after that it was beautiful. But yeah, but it is like a holistic
Mm-hmm.
experience of a story,
Definitely.
and it's exhausting and also full of like this passion. For me, like I'm looking for passionate relationships with the stories. Otherwise, I don't know if there's point to tell
Yeah.
those. Yeah, and I don't know what are the like passionate stories.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like this book thing was, and now I'm developing a feature fiction that is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and this film that you saw, that was like the last part of the project. It was,
Mm-hmm.
but in the beginning, yeah.
And did you ever start a movie or start a project that you just didn't feel the passion for or the connection to, and then you decided to give up even though you put all the time and effort into it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, in the movie, there was one point that I thought of it and I was like, I need to ask this question, even if you cannot answer it right now. But in the first part of the movie, you were talking with one of your colleagues who was working in a museum, and you were looking at reindeer leggings, and she said that it feels like it's a part of an answer, even though you don't know and she doesn't know either the question.
Mhm.
Do you think you will ever know the question, or is there even a question, or how
Yeah,
does it work?
yeah. Sorry, there's a construction work there. So yeah, I think there's a question, and
Uh-huh.
I think I know the question.
Okay.
But I don't know. Just I don't can't just verbalize it. So yeah, I mean, I think people know the answer, but they don't maybe know the answer. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. It was just really interesting for me. Um, in any of your movies or books or any work you've done before, is there a scene that you've created that stays with you, like at not at all times, but like you always remember it, either emotionally or spiritually, or is that anything, one specific thing that maybe stuck with you?
I think they all, in a way, all
Yeah.
those scenes and the processes and the movies are with me, but at the same time they have left me,
Mhm.
because they definitely have changed me and shaped me, and I have like it feels like every, especially the bigger projects like feature films or book, they have taught me something totally new, that I cannot go back to be anymore a person I
Mhm.
was before those things. They are like relationships. They really shape you, like
Mhm.
important relationships. But in the way they also leave me when the public sees them, like let's say when there is a premiere in film or book, I hope book releasing event. So then I feel that they are no longer mine.
Mhm.
Then it's people's who watch those films or read those. Then I don't owe them anymore, or they are not with me. They're like ex-lovers to me.
Mhm.
I remember them, or ex-lovers or babies. I maybe ex-lovers even more. They always stays with me and in my heart, but I'm not holding on to them.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so and I think it's important to let go, because otherwise, if you don't let go, you are not able to create something new.
Yeah.
So right now, my crisis is today when my book is gonna be launched. Is the It's not like it's not like um, celebration in a way. It's more like funeral,
Uh-huh.
because then I have to let go of the
Let
story.
go.
And I feel like I've been calling that. I feel like being a single, that I'm looking for a new passionate
Mhm.
romance, and I don't know what it will be. So, and it feels a little bit exhausting that I have to start dating again. I mean, it's like I just had such a nice relationship, and I have to start dating again, and I don't
Mhm.
know which one is the right one. And but I really hope that. And I'm also like afraid. Every time I'm afraid that I will never ever experience anything that was
Uh-huh.
so beautiful that I was able to experience with the book or film or script or whatever. But every time something new has come, but it's really important to let go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and now that we talked about your movies and especially Homecoming and your new book, how were the two processes? Because they sound kind of similar, but still quite different. How were the processes different, or like, did one felt harder than the other, or how did you experience this maybe switch in your career?
Yeah, well, for me, they are basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first, like officially, this is my first novel, but I don't feel like I'm a first time novelist because it's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
As well as I'm now developing officially my first feature fiction, but it doesn't feel like I am like first time doing this because it's just a story. Everything is like, I mean, I'm so story orientated, so everything, the process feels so similar. I mean, I don't there's not like, of course there's like this details or technicalities, like there's a different technicalities when it comes to film and different technicalities when it comes to book,
Mm-hmm.
but um, but they are not like that. Those are things that you can learn quickly, and it's you can adapt. Okay, this is how the book printing process go,
Mm-hmm.
but the story, making the story is exactly the same. And even for me, when I made my master thesis, even that felt the same. Even that was, the core is the same still. You just use different methods. um, yeah, biggest technical but like this kind of detail different is that in film there are long processes. They might last like like a 2 to 10 years. So I think that I'm gonna make the feature fiction like 5 years or even more. Many of the films they have been lasting like 5 years to make. Or
Okay.
Mahtsan Homecoming was really pretty easy in that sense. It took only like maybe 4 years, so it was like pretty light. And of course, you don't do all the time the work. You just do something else too, because you have to wait so much. There's like a lot of time to wait to answer. So there was like one moment in the feature fiction that I have been just waiting for 1 year, and nothing has happened. And then I wrote this book. So, biggest difference is that in film, there is so little time to. There's not that much. The creative part is it doesn't last that long compared to other parts like selling and promoting and marketizing and trying to convince people that you can make this film. So there's a lot of pitching sessions and that kind of industry part. And the actual creative work where you work with the story and the film, if it's like a script or post editing part, that is surprisingly, it's not that much compared to the overall thing. And in book world, I felt that I have been 90% been in the creative process, just like making the story. And only like a few little things like going through like headshots and stuff. So it's like it's a different balance. And and it has felt vacation because of this, that I have been able to do the artistic work, and it has been it's been so good experience in that sense, that because now I can, it's only me. I don't need to like, I'm not depending on like
Others.
yeah.
That's really important. And when you think about your films or your book from many years from now, what do you hope they do to people who watch them? What do you hope they get as a message even in many years from now?
Well, I think that since I am the storyteller, I cannot I cannot say that how people should feel, or I cannot say even if they are important or not. It's not my to say. It's the people who will determine that, if they are what is the message and so on. I cannot. Yeah, it's I'm just the storyteller. Yeah, I cannot talk about the impact.
You're really saying things that are so interesting, and like I think now that I feel like your views and like how you approach things, it's just so unique and it's so interesting for me because of like I don't know, it's just so interesting. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I can add that, it's, I don't think it's possible for me as a storyteller to determine that, okay, I'm gonna write an important book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
I cannot
definitely.
control that.
Yeah, definitely. So earlier in this conversation, you said that um that the expectations are there and that sometimes you just want to be like a more normal person without the expectations, and that the media sometimes doesn't portray the way you feel like it should, if I got it correctly. So I have a question for you, like, is there a question that you wish someone asked you, but you haven't been asked yet, maybe like in a more professional setting or at an interview or something like this? So what would be the question?
Well, surprisingly, I have to say that in international level, I have some experiences that I have been treated as an artist or storyteller, and so it has been really nice experience. Somehow in Finland, I always end up to that category, that even whatever I do, then it's not seen as a form of art, but more like me talking about being a Sami or Sami culture. So is there like a single question? Not necessarily. No, I don't. I know the answer, but I don't know the question.
Um,
Yeah.
can I ask what would be the answer? Or
well, I know this is like utopia in a way, but and it's not. It doesn't also. It's not only personally from about me, but I know that what is the stage of cultural journalism. So I love more than anything. Well, I love my kids and family, but the essence of the reason to live for me is stories and storytelling. So I could talk about that a lot, and like I have been talking about that, like the how I feel the stories. But I know that it's not that interesting for most of the people, because people are or the media wants to focus on themes or topics, and in Finland especially, because we don't have that much, like it's different in France or United Kingdom or places where you have like this long history of art and culture, but in Finland and in Scandinavia there is not similar situation. So yeah, there is not that kind of like art and storytelling talk in that level. I think I have been actually answering already, because I've been able to talk about the flow and the spirit of the story, and the messiness and how it feels to be when you are in a connection with a story. Yeah, I think the stories could be life-changing and life-saving experiences, and maybe I have been struggling with the importance, the question of being important, and the question of that if it's really needed in this stage when we are living in the world that is like simply horrible in many ways. So and I remember I was teaching in Vienna Art University, and there was this moment that I after the school day, I went to see concert, like by accidentally. Went to Mozart's house in Vienna, and in the basement there was a concert that there was like a duo. There was like this baritone singer, is that the one, and then the pianist, and he sang these Mozart's songs in the basement of Mozart's house, and it was really intimate place. And at that day, I was reading the climate report of how we all gonna die soon if nothing's gonna be changed. So it felt like hopeless day in that sense. The report, is that the report? Yeah, came out, and it was like really horrible to read. So I was there in the basement listening Mozart, and Mozart sung, and this amazing baritone. So and I felt that, because I was also struggling, what is the point to teach younger people to make art and tell stories in this world and in this field where it's like right now it's so difficult to work as an artist and a cultural worker. So, but when I was in that concert, I felt that because of I felt like that I'm in Titanic, and we are sinking.
Mm-hmm.
We are the orchestra that we need to keep doing what we do.
Yeah.
So it was like really, I get so emotional because it was such a powerful moment to realize that how important all kind of culture and art and storytelling is. So it was kind of a life-changing experience to be
Mm-hmm.
there. And after that, I haven't been saying that it's not important, but even like saying we have to do even more. We have to tell all kind of stories. We have to tell important social stories, but we also have to make like funny comedies without like nothing important there.
Mm-hmm.
That's people need us more than ever,
Yeah.
even though they are cutting all our like livelihoods away, but still. So yeah, I mean that was yeah.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds really interesting, and it's, yeah, it's really interesting to see these dualities in life, I think, in general, and just like, yeah.
Yeah, because when I listened the Mozart songs, I lived in that. I don't know how long the concert lasts, maybe 1 hour. So I
Mm-hmm.
was living in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so mesmerized by this music, and it was like it was I really felt something big, and we talk about songs that have made, I don't know how many years ago, how many hundreds years ago, like
Yeah, quite
yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
yes. So yeah, so it was like wow.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit speechless as well. Like, I don't even know what to say. Um, Maybe if you have time for one last question. Um, but it's a bit more general. Like, is there anything else that maybe like we didn't touch upon, or I didn't ask you, that you would like to just share or talk about as like a closing part?
Mm, well, I can talk about, because I know that you have been interviewing Indigenous uh, storytellers, so I can talk about the Sami uh, perspective in that
Mm-hmm.
sense, that I have felt that since I am Sami,
Mm-hmm.
that am I allowed to, where is my freedom? Like I've been trying to balance between the thing that am I allowed to first of all write in Finnish,
Mm-hmm.
in Finnish language, or am I because this book is in Finnish language, um, or am I allowed to do something funny instead of like
Mm-hmm.
educating? So so it's been really, and I go back and forth, because there have been moments where I felt that I really have to serve my people, and I really have to educate. It's my I have to do that, and I don't feel it's bad either necessarily, but it's more about finding the balance. So now, after making 3 feature uh, films on social issues, I felt that I need to take a break and do something for myself, like
Mm-hmm.
instead of telling stories to others, now I have to tell stories to myself.
Yeah.
Only it's more like a self-care in a way, that it's I need this so I can
Mm-hmm.
continue be
Yeah.
a storyteller. So
Mm-hmm.
if I don't take care of myself and entertain myself right now, I don't know if how long I can carry. And it doesn't mean that, even though right now I'm extremely interested in freedom in different ways. I mean, also in storytelling, but also in my personal life. And I'm looking for seeking ways to get to kind of break the barriers and the walls and the norms that have been built because of the colonialism and capitalism. So it's like the right now, the freedom and liberation, artistic liberation, all kind of liberation is so important to me. But it doesn't mean that in 5 years I'm not going back to societal documentaries to serve my people. But I need this break. I call it that. I say that right now I'm on holiday, even though it's not a holiday because I work hard, I work long hours, I work. It doesn't mean that I'm taking nap, but I'm holiday in that sense that I'm not serving anyone else than
Yourself.
myself. Yeah.
And can I ask, like, when you had these ambiguities of like, and these dualities of like, what can you do and what is your scope? Were these more like inner thoughts, or could you talk about this to someone? Like, did someone help you realize that yes, while it is important what you're doing and communicating through your movies, it is also important to have your own story and your own.
I think I think that is inner expectation. But I also see the previous film that I made before Mahtsan was about colonialism, and it's more like activist film. So I relate to these activists who, or many other Sami people who feels that there is their obligation to serve people and do their part of this decolonialization movement in a way. So I also, but nobody has said to them that you have to, by the way, if you work in healthcare, you have to find ways to help Sami people. Nobody says that, but people seem to take the responsibility themselves to themselves. And I have felt that it's not like the expectation doesn't come anywhere else, but it is inside of me. And it comes from the thing that I love my community, and I know they love our community, and we want to maintain our culture. We want to preserve our culture. We want to preserve that to future generations. So it means that we have to do something, because otherwise, if we don't do something, it will disappear. So it's like an inner need, an inner expectation. Nobody says that we have to do it. And again, it's also me when I have said to myself, and now you have to take a break. So I don't, nobody, yeah. So it's like it comes from those. And of course, I mean, I'm not saying that this book, what I'm now launching, or the feature fiction is, it deals, both of those deals the question of being a Sami woman, or being a woman in a minority group, or so on. So and of course there's like heavy subjects too, even though the way of telling is light. So I'm not saying that they are not important to Sami community, but they might be, or they might not, I don't know. The thing is that I didn't do that because of others, I did it because of me. So the result can be the same, the impact could be same, but the target group in my mind is different. Yeah.
Maybe a very last question. Are you planning to publish your book in English as well, or is it only in the Finnish language?
It's in Finnish language, and it's not up to me. Because I need to go forward as a storyteller. I cannot stick to that story anymore. So it's up to others if they want to translate it in English. There's pretty many people asking about it already. I know that there is not that many Finnish books that are translated in other languages, but of course it is possible. But someone else needs to be active about that.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a matter of grants, because it costs a bit to translate it. So it's about that too, that if somebody will get the grant to translate it or not. Yeah, but I made this decision that I cannot 12 into that process. I need to go forward.
Definitely, yeah. Well, thank you so much for everything that you shared, everything you talked about. It really means a lot.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for all the work you're doing with telling your stories, raising awareness about your community. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. This is a very nice moment for me too, to start the day.
Yeah. And good luck with your day and with publishing your book.
Thank you.
I really hope, even I know that it's out of your scope, but I really hope I can read the book one day. So good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. I really hope yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.